So there's a lot of people upset with the latest episode of Overlord, and I can understand why, for a good reason. I definitely say that this is probably the weakest episode of Overlord Season 2. Now, when I say weakest, I don't mean that it's the worst. I don't mean that I didn't enjoy the episode. I'm just saying in terms of following the light novel, the original source, this definitely was the weakest. And the reason why is because there was some very noticeable issues. I think even anime-onlys watching this episode might be able to key in on some very awkward scenes for this episode. Number one, the princess scene. If you go to the princess scene and really pay attention, you'll notice that the discussion going on, there's a very awkward, change in emotions with Raven. How he automatically is like, oh no, you monster and all that, and then he just calms down instantly. It's very weird. It's an awkward, moment in the episode, and you're like, that's just very weird for his character to just, one minute he's very shocked and upset, and the next moment he's completely fine. It's like that. It's just it's weird. And so, the reason for this is because they were hitting the gas pedal for this entire episode. Yes, they were rushing. This was a very rushed episode. Now, here's the thing, okay? Normally, I would be very upset. And in some ways, I am a little bit upset with this episode. But the thing is that they did get the real message across with this episode. They got the full point across of what was going on, and I think everybody could understand what happened, and so you don't really need anything else. So they kind of kept the bare bones of the original source, and allowed you to kind of comprehend what was happening at this part in the series. So, at the end of the day, yes, you lost information, yes, you lost certain things that made the scene better, but overall, you managed to get to the conclusion a lot faster, and you kind of still understand what everybody else, understood while reading this for the first time. So I don't think it's necessarily that bad. But, as a light novel reader, I do admit that it, like I said, was kind of disappointing. So, I'm just gonna say, before I go any further, I did like this episode, okay? I did. I want to go on a limb here and tell you, I liked the episode. It was fun. I honestly felt like the episode just ended too quickly. I wanted to keep seeing it going on. I mean, I was a little bit sad when the credits started rolling, because I was really enjoying the episode. But I'm here to discuss the points of the episode that, honestly, I think could have been done a lot better. So, the Sebastian scene. In the anime, it was done really well. However, there was some things that kind of made the tension of the scene not as strong as it was in the light novel. And the reason why is because in the light novel, when Sebastian, before he walks into the room to see Ainz, to see Demi, and all of them, he automatically knows that the girl he saved, this human, she's probably going to die. He knows. And he was preparing himself the entire time when he was tasked to go in there and meet Ainz. He was mentally preparing himself to end her life. He was ready to do that. And at the same time, when he walked into the room and he noticed everybody didn't have any disguises on, there was no disguises. Everybody was showing their real face. He knew it was probably her end in that moment. And he tried to stall time. This is in the light novel, okay? This is, inside of Sebastian's mind what he's trying to do. He's trying to stall for time, but at the same time, he knows that he's going to have to probably kill her. She's going to die one way or another. And as the conversation continues on, when he looks around to all of the Guardians and all that, he starts to sweat. And we do see him sweating in this episode, but it's not kind of shown that much, or it's not as extreme as it was in the light novel. In the light novel, he starts to sweat, and the reason why is not because he fears for his own life. In fact, Sebastian would be fine with dying for, Nazarick. He has no problem with that. If, he was to lay down his life for Nazarick, he wouldn't bat an eye. He wouldn't care. It's because he loves Nazarick so much. But the point is that when he looked at all of the Guardians, and they had this suspicion in their eyes, hatred and all that, looking at Sebastian like he was a traitor, he knew in that moment that it would be the ultimate dishonor. If he was to die, well, it would bring the biggest shame onto himself and all of Nazarick to just betray the great beings, the supreme beings, and, Ainz and everybody else. It would just be a big dishonor, and he didn't want that. And so, it's one thing to die for Nazarick, it's another if you're branded as a traitor and die. And he didn't want that, and he was very scared, and he was literally crapping his pants in the light novel. He was very scared. And, like I said, this episode of the anime, it didn't really imply that. It showed that Sebastian Sebastian, he was nervous, he was scared, but it didn't go to that extent to really show how scared he really was. And this scene is a very similar scene to how Kyokutis was. Kyokutis was very scared in the light novel, and in all honesty, I think the way they did the scene in the anime was actually very well done. I mean, it didn't have everything from the light novel, but it was definitely done a lot better than this scene with Sebastian, because this could have been used as an episode to really show the conflict going on within Sebastian as a person. Number one, he is someone that was created by the Supreme Beings. And number two, he has these own beliefs. His beliefs to where he wants to protect the weak, the innocent, and all that. People that are not really bad. For instance, what he has done for the girl that is now a maid, working underneath Nazarick. He is someone as a good-willed person, thanks to his creator, Touch Me Son. And so, when he had that moment, when he was tasked to kill her, he was having to choose between his own ideals, his beliefs, or Nazarick. That's what he had to choose in that moment. He was having an internal conflict within himself, not knowing what he should choose. Should he go by what he was technically programmed to do? Or should he, blindly follow the Supreme Beings? He didn't really know what to do in that moment, and that was the big boiling point for his character in that moment in the light novel. And so, like I said, they didn't really show that as well, I think, in the anime episode. But like I said, it isn't bad. The episode isn't bad, okay? I know I'm making it sound like it was a really bad episode. It's not. It's not a bad episode. It's a decent episode. Actually, no, it's more than decent. It's a great episode. But if you're someone that, wanted everything, obviously you're going to be disappointed. Because of some things that were axed out for this episode. But, let's talk about the scene with Ainz when he first appeared, okay? So, I personally, when I read the light novels the first time around, yes, I have read the light novels a couple times, especially this part of, the series, because I really like the Sebastian stuff. When I first read it, I didn't really catch that Ainz, the first Ainz we see in this episode, is actually Pandora's actor. Now, it's not ever really straight up stated that it's Pandora's actor, not even later on, but it's implied. And this is something that the writer normally does. It kind of implies things here and there, especially, for instance, like the chimeras, the sheep and all that, which it's very obvious that they're humans being harvested and turned into scrolls. It's very obvious. I think, everybody can understand that, anime onlys as well, but it's never actually downright stated that it's humans being done that way. And once again, this is another example. For instance, the first Ainz we see in this episode was actually Pandora's actor disguising as Ainz. You remember Pandora's actor in the first season that was able to turn into the other Supreme Beings and stuff and turn into Ainz and all that, or can turn into Ainz? Well, that's who was there in that moment. And like I said, the first time I read it, I didn't catch it. I didn't catch that moment at all when I first read the light novel. I actually had to reread it and all that to really understand what happened in that scene, and I feel like they made it very obvious with this episode. If you didn't catch it even as a light novel reader, you're definitely going to see how obvious it is with this episode, because number one, you can see how different Ainz acts. Just his expressions and how he carries himself the first time he appears in this episode, it's obvious it's not Ainz. He has this over-exaggerated persona. And then later on, when he actually finally gets to appear again, he acts completely different. He looks at the girl and he's like, oh, you look very similar and all that. And if this was the same Ainz, he would have already noticed that in the first conversation. So it shows that they're not the same Ainz. The two Ainzes we saw in this episode, one was Pandora, one was not. And there you go. That explains that entire situation. Also, the ending part of the episode, after the ending song, kind of clarifies, too, that it's Pandora's actor. So, I do feel like in terms of anime-wise, I think that scene was delivered a lot better. Because, like I said, I didn't really catch it the first time around. And after rereading it, I noticed it. And I believe anime-onlys will be able to catch that with this episode just because of how obvious it is. I guess if it's been a while since you've seen season 1, I maybe might not catch it, because, it has been a while. But, if you have, recently either read certain parts of the light novel, or you have watched season 1, then you'll probably catch that scene. Okay, so let's talk about, the princess. So, the princess, she's a monster, and I already briefly talked about her in my last episode review. She is a yandere, and she's a very extreme one at that. She's the definition of a yandere, but very messed up, a very twisted outlook on love and everything. She can't comprehend it, and this episode really goes far to show that she doesn't truly understand what love really is. She doesn't truly understand what a relationship really is, and let's kind of dive right into that. So, the princess, she says she's in love with Climb, and in a way she is, but she doesn't truly comprehend those words. She believes love is Climb chasing after her like a lost puppy, and her, manipulating him. It's like she is manipulating Climb while he follows her beck and call. And she wants to be in a relationship to where she can literally chain him up and he can't do anything. So she has a very twisted outlook on love. She looks at Climb as like a dog, a puppy or something like that, and that's about it. Which makes a lot of sense, because you gotta look at how she is as a person. She's always been viewed as a monster. She never really probably had a proper conversation with someone because of how different she is and how intelligent she is, and so she was never able to really associate with anyone. And because of that, when she finally had someone that actually started to care about her, which is Climb, that probably warped it to where she realized maybe this is a person that actually cares for who she is, and she tried to act like his ideal person. Acted like this princess that's very kind and all that, while manipulating him on the side. She just, like I said, has a twisted outlook on it. So, the princess, very messed up. I could see many be like, whoa, like, you knew the princess was kind of messed up in the last episode, but after seeing how she acted in this episode, everybody's gonna be like, oh my god, she's scary. Like, get away from her. Like, I know everybody's gonna be saying that, and I agree. She's pretty scary. She really is. But okay, so let's talk about one of the final scenes of the episode with Albedo. So Albedo, she gets angry, and I don't think this is probably going to be explained in the anime, so I'm going to go on my way and explain it, okay? So anime only, this might be slight spoilers, but it's not really, honestly. I mean, it's just giving clarification, okay? I like I said, I don't think it's going to spoil that bad. It just, like I said, it's not going to probably get explained properly, so I'm just going to explain it. So, Albedo, she got upset at the end of the episode. And the reason for that, many might think, like, what's going on there? Like, why is she upset when, Ainz' name was mentioned? Like, well, what's that? And then it pans over to the flag of, the guild and stuff. She just looked very disgusted and upset. And you're like, wait a minute, this kind of, many anime owners would be like, this conflicts with, her character. She loves, Momonga. She loves Ainz. She goes after him. I mean, it's even in her settings that she's madly in love with him. So many be like, why is she acting like that? Why does she, get all upset? Well, the reason is because she doesn't associate the name Ainz with Momonga Ainz. She doesn't associate those two. She actually doesn't like the name Ainz, and the reason why is because she doesn't give a crap about the guild. So, the reason why is because she doesn't have any respect for the other supreme beings that left them, even the one that created her. She has no respect for the other supreme beings that left them to rot, and only Ainz was there to stay. He was the only one that stayed around to be with them. And so Albedo only respects Ainz because of that, because he was the only supreme being to stick around while the others abandoned all of them. And so she doesn't care about the guild or anything. She cares about the people that are there, but she doesn't care about the original members. She has no care for them whatsoever, or the name of it. So I'm making sure to give some clarification. Like I said, I highly doubt that's going to probably be properly explained in the anime, so that's why I was talking about it right now. But, next scene to talk about, I guess, let's see. Let's talk about, how the human girl, Siori, how you pronounce her name, she was, kidnapped. So, we know for a fact some major crap about to hit the fan. Like, yo, Ainz just made her an honorary member of Nazarick, okay? She gets kidnapped. This is the equivalent of someone kidnapping Demi or Albedo or any of his children. If anyone kidnaps someone from him, Ainz is going to raise some hell. He's going to get angry, okay? And so, seeing how she was taken like that, for a fact the man is going to go all in. And that's why he's calling the armies to go in. And I want to tell you right now, get ready for some savagery. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to go any further with that, but get ready for some savagery. Like, this man, when he wants to save someone, they're a part of his guild, and he names them under his protection, Ainz goes all in. That's all I'm going to say. And just get ready for that, because it's going to be pretty exciting. It got me pretty hyped up when I saw the end of this episode. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, the episode, it had its problems, but it wasn't as bad as I think everybody's going to be saying it is. And, I mean, as a light novel reader, it's kind of disappointing, but I enjoyed it. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And I love you guys. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.